Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Imperfect Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Kendra Corman. Today, let's talk about one of the biggest, yet most overlooked success drivers for any business. Can you guess what it is? Consistency. Whether you're looking to turn new contacts into regular clients or wishing to retain your clients longer, doubling down on consistency in all areas is key. I'll share why it's so critical, plus some of my strategic tips for making consistency attainable, even in a chaotic entrepreneurial life. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I cannot emphasize enough how vital consistency is when trying to gain momentum and scale any business sustainably over time. The companies seeing the hockey stick growth trends have mastered consistent delivery of value. Value, right? Top notch experiences and responsive communication. But consistency is hard sometimes, right? Life throws curveballs, motivation fluctuates, new ideas distract focus. So, today I want to help you with offering some mindset shifts and some tactical ideas to help you with implementation. So, let's share a story of failure to be consistent by yours truly. Yep. Been there, done that, have the t shirt. I was so busy with new prospects and clients. It was awesome. Guess what I was doing? Yep, I was handling my client work. I was focusing on them and getting that stuff done. I was working in my business. I think I was even taking a course on being more profitable at the time. I was on top of the world. Then I got an email from a person who leads a group I was supposed to speak to. We were locked in months in advance and I was ready to go. Her email said, Kendra, you still around? I was looking on your social media and you haven't posted in months. Do I need to get another speaker? Or are you going to be there? She almost got another speaker. I almost lost out on an opportunity to speak in front of a group of prospects. Can't afford to lose that kind of stuff. It was not good at all. That's why consistency is so important. What's the right consistency? Not necessarily 2 to 3 times a week and then nothing at all for a long time. It still happens and I still struggle with it. Last couple of weeks of December, definitely had that issue. I get it. At the time of recording, I am furiously creating some social media posts because I fell behind due to the holidays. It happens. You need to forgive yourself and move on. But you also need to know that this is important and you need to focus on it. Before we get into tips on how to stay consistent and what to do, I want to give you a core few things that you really need to look at. One is do less. Yep. Do less, not more. Don't sign up for every social media platform every day. I wish I had like 4 less social media channels. It would make being consistent so much easier. I actually had a guest on the podcast in 2023 who's a marketing strategist. The only channel she has is LinkedIn. There is nothing wrong with being focused. And then I want you to define frequency. Don't start off at 2 podcasts a week. Don't start posting 1 time a day on your social media channels. What do you think is sustainable in the long run? Then I would recommend that you cut that in half because we always overestimate our time and then scale up after that. I have a friend with an awesome podcast, The Art of Volunteering. She releases an episode every other week. Could she do more? Maybe, maybe not. This is her passion, and she is dedicated and purposeful in it. She spends a ton of time finding the right guests, prepping her conversations with them. She puts out a quality podcast on a consistent schedule. It's not 2 times a week. It's not 4 times a week. It's not even once a week. It doesn't have to be. And she has been consistently growing as a reward for her consistency. You can find her podcast link in the show notes because I think it's a great episode. And I'll be sure to link to the one where she interviewed me. But I love how she can take that time and dedicate herself to each episode so thoughtfully. Me, I had so much to share at the beginning and I wanted to go and add my own thoughts. So I kept increasing my frequency. Then I got in trouble and I almost threw in the towel. I powered through, came up with a better plan, and now you benefit from my thoughts every Tuesday and I guest interview with their perspective every Thursday. So, how do you go about creating and building your consistency? Well, I would start by reviewing the core pillars of your business model. What elements resonate most with your audience? Pare down efforts to double down on what works. Say no to non essential new initiatives and peripheral offerings that are going to diffuse where you're spending your time. That's right. I said say no. And then systematize as many customer touch points as possible through templates, automations. So follow up happens on autopilot or outsource it. Schedule your social media and email campaigns weeks in advance so that you've got a consistent connection. ConvertKit and Constant Contact are great tools for this. Constant Contact even has social media scheduling built in. Now, I personally use Metricool and we'll have links to all of these in the show notes, but part of that's because it's my job. The other part is that I really do like the system and it's core to my business. And then I want you to go ahead and document your proprietary processes so you can train a VA or a contractor to handle some of the admin tasks, freeing you up for high level work only you can do. You're not adding value at certain places in the process, right? I have standard operating procedures or SOPs on a lot of these things. I also have AI prompts inside my Asana, which is my task management system that can help me or my VA or a contractor create some drafts. The idea of this podcast and this episode on consistency, yes, I love talking about consistency, but Claude.ai came up with it. As you can tell from what I'm sharing, Claude did not write it. I edited it and made it mine. Now, I want you to remember you need to take care of yourself. You need to manage energy, creativity, and focus. Building your business is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think some of us tend to forget that. Consistency is the only sustainable thing, and it's only sustainable long term if you have ample personal bandwidth. That's where I was with the podcast. I was tired and frustrated of guests standing me up and throwing in last minute solo shows. I was ready to walk away. Now I'm headed into the home stretch, reaching year 3 and only 3 months away from our 200th episode. A little crazy, right? So don't let work expand to the time you're allowing it by creating goals and consistency targets that are just too hard and that you're never going to meet. I want you to define what is consistent for yourself and then stick to that. Doesn't mean you can't grow over time. So, what is integral to you driving consistent results in your ventures? So, again, do less and define consistency. Those are going to be 2 of your key mantras for 2024. All right, everyone. That wraps up today's episode on elevating consistency in your business. To dig deeper into reliability focused planning, take a look at my consistency roadmap over at kendracorman.com/consistency. Thanks again for tuning in and have a great rest of your day.